My name is Amber Mikesell, and I'm an integrative health practitioner practicing here in Scottsdale, Arizona, within the United States. My primary area of focus is offering different types of supplemental and alternative healthcare practices to individuals who have been given either a terminal diagnosis or a diagnosis where their healthcare practitioner or their doctor simply doesn't know what next steps to take. So they may call me in and we discuss different approaches that can blend and be supplemental with the care that they're currently getting. And that really leads me into this topic that I'm here to talk about today. And that is the key role of choice and awareness when we are designing these strategies or these healthcare approaches for our clients or our patients. And so I've learned a great deal of this through my studies in quantum sciences, quantum physics, and a wonderful program that I've had the opportunity to take part in with Dr. Amit Goswami. And that is a quantum sciences of health and happiness program. I am about to complete my master's program with that and am looking to potentially do my PhD. But it has really helped me a great deal in my integrative health practice because it gave me terminology that has really helped me bridge this gap of things that I really knew. I've been so interested in how science and medicine and spirituality all really tie together to create a holistic view of each and every person that I see and am in service of. But sometimes there was just some terminology that was lacking to help create this awareness that I'm speaking of. And this program really helped fill that in. So you're going to see a lot of references from that program contained within my slide deck as we go through. So let's jump in. And the first slide, let's see if we can place me in a place where you can actually read everything. Let's move this over here. The first thing I would like to do, and I just find this very valuable, is to set the stage so that we have a common language or just a baseline for terms and different theories that I will leverage throughout the discussion. It just allows you and I to make sure that we're on the same page when I say things like tangled hierarchy or what is choice, because we all have our own mental meaning of what these things are. And as I present, if you know what my mental meaning is of that, it may help you understand where I'm coming from. So it helps us kind of walk down this journey together throughout the presentation. So key definitions that I would like to include so that we do have the same terminology is first, non-locality. If I say non-locality, what I intend from that is this domain of potentiality that exists outside of time and space. It's where infinite choices are available to consciousness. And it's where we all pull each and every choice down through and into our current physical reality. And what that means is that we all always have infinite choices available to us. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing, and it's out of this realm of non-locality. Next is choice. So within quantum science, as we talk about choice, and it's believed that these infinite waves of potentiality are available for consciousness to choose from. But we do need to choose in order to collapse them into an experience. And that also means in a beautiful twist, if we back off and look at it, that infinite choices are always available to us. And no matter what is currently chosen, that we can always choose again and choose again and choose again in order to lead us to a different outcome. So there may be choices that lead us down a path that there is a determined outcome for, but how we experience that determined outcome still allows us to have freedom and choice throughout that flow. So choice is a very, very powerful thing. And then tangled hierarchy. Now, tangled hierarchy is also a very key point as we're discussing all of the ways that we bring things together, because tangled hierarchy has that circular causality. You'll often see it as the left hand drawing the right hand drawing the left hand, and it looks like they're just in this infinite loop. They're both independent, but they're impacting. Without one, there isn't the other. And so it's this infinite loop of circular causality that begins to occur. You'll also hear like, which came first, the chicken or the egg? There are all of these things that without one, the other just isn't there. And so the two just kind of create this never-ending loop. And tangled hierarchy will come into play here in just a little bit as well. The next thing I would like to make sure that we establish as we navigate through is the 5 bodies. And the 5 bodies are often referred to as the 5 koshas or other things in different spiritualities, or even within scientific terms. So when I'm referencing the 5 bodies, what I am bringing forward in the presentation is first the physical body, which gives us our sensations. It's our tissues, our blood, our bodies. It's what helps us actually have the more subtle experiences, because we actually need the physical to experience the more subtle. Next is that vital body, which gives us that feeling. And that vital body, as we'll talk about here in the next few slides, actually by a scientific theory may carry with it the blueprint that actually informs the physical body of how to be constructed or how different organs actually function. So it gives both form and function in the form of a blueprint. Next is the mental body. The mental body is what allows us to make that mental representation. It gives us thought, and it helps bring that vital and that physical into meaning. Then you have supramental, which gives intuition, and it provides context for all of the other things that are occurring. So the mental meaning, the vital functions, and all of those associated governances, and what that physical movement will actually be. Then you have the bliss body, or what many people will call ultimate consciousness or spiritual wholeness. And there, that it provides unlimited possibilities. It is what many call the ground of all being, or if you're talking about it from M theory or string theory, it is the single strand. It is all. So this is a diagram that is freely available online. And although it is not scientifically accurate, it helps us create a mental meaning around what these 5 bodies are. So it really walks us through and helps us understand how there is that kind of circular causality that is happening among our bodies, that the physical body needs the vital body needs the physical body, and all the way up and all the way down, there is a tangled hierarchy that actually occurs, because without the physical, we're not going to feel the vital, the subtler more subtle energies. And so the physical gives us this physical experience. And so it flows throughout in this circular causality, this tangled hierarchy throughout our bodies in downward causation. So it means that from ultimate consciousness or that bliss consciousness, in order to experience and gain insight, it flows down through every level in order to have this experience. Oops. And quantum theories will be what we move into next. The quantum theory that I would like to really dive into to understand the importance of choice and awareness, especially when it comes to our health and our wellness and being there to help others as they heal, is the morphogenetic field by Rupert Sheldrake. And in this, we talk about how there is a signalless communication that occurs between the vital body and the physical body. Now, Dr. Amit Goswami has expanded upon this greatly, and there are many resources in the very last slide where you can dive deeper into this, because there's a lot of information, and in 30 minutes, I cannot possibly cover it all. But at a high level, what this does is the morphogenetic field allows that blueprint from the vital body that we were talking about before to actually communicate with the physical body. And if we think about it like a blueprint for a house, if you will, and we really don't necessarily build our house without having at least some kind of a blueprint or some kind of an outline to understand where different rooms are going to be, and knowing that the functionality of those rooms creates a good flow. So you don't necessarily desire to have the kitchen right next to your master bedroom that has the primary bathroom for all of your guests. You might, but it really might not be your best layout. So you're going to design your home in a way that makes sense for you. Likewise, consciousness is going to design the physical form in a way that makes the most sense. And it's going to have a blueprint for the functions of how that is. And that's what the morphogenetic field is, basically the builder for communicating and making that occur, taking that blueprint from the vital body and into the physical body, making sure that things are aligned and built out both in form and function. And so, when we end up with blocks or energetic barriers between that vital body and our physical body, or something that's intruding or keeping that morphogenetic field from carrying that signal effectively, then we end up with illness or disease. And when we only treat the physical, then we might be missing a key component of what actually needs to be addressed in order to restore health and healing. And part of that goes along with the awareness that that could be where there's a primary issue contained within the vital body or the morphogenetic field, which is creating that connection. Because also within that vital body, there is a corresponding, just like on your blueprint for your home, you would have a bathroom drawn out, you would have a bathroom in your home. Likewise, in the blueprint for our vital body, we have a kidney that represents the organ. We also have a corresponding physical kidney in our body. And so if there's something that's askew in the vital body energy of the kidney, it could then manifest in the kidney in the body. And so treating the body isn't necessarily going to heal what's going on in the kidney because it's downward causation, not upward causation. Things move down from consciousness. And so it's important that we understand the healing flow. That awareness is important. There's also a theory on quantum healing. And quantum healing includes the fundamental understanding that mind-body healing must be included in that vital and mental meaning, or there could be disharmony or disease. And what that breaks down to is that we can't just focus only on the body. There is the mental aspect of us, which means mental hygiene, making certain that our thoughts aren't always stuck in the negative, bringing our energy down, or that we are taking time to mentally unwind and not always be stuck in stress. Then we also have the energetic aspect that we talked about with the vital body, making certain that our vital energy is always moving and always connected. And so in this way, mind-body healing involves changes in an entire context of the mindset for how healing occurs. And consciousness is the starting point for that flow of energy and healing. And we also talk about, by way of that tangled hierarchy or that circular causation that we were talking about, the supramental, from consciousness down to supramental, can invoke a quantum collapse through that vital body. So collapsing the choices down through that vital body, clearing out any energetic blocks that there are at the appropriate chakra points or energy points. And that can cause what appears to be instantaneous quantum leaps in healing. And that, even if it's not just like an instantaneous quantum leap in healing, it can be a quantum leap in insight for what needs to be done for healing. And so by allowing ourselves to have this awareness of the flow of consciousness and invoking a choice to heal from that supramental down through the body, we can actually have these quantum leaps that allow us to heal faster. And I know I've seen it in my practice where an individual, once they really got that, they were empowered to heal themselves, even if it wasn't that they had a quantum leap in the healing itself, they had a quantum leap in the awareness of what they needed to do in order to heal. So how does all of this relate? How does it come back to having some key fundamental components of the practice be choice for the client or the patient and awareness for them as well? And what I would offer is, based on all that we just discussed, consciousness pulls from that realm of unlimited potentiality and it collapses down through utilizing that morphogenetic field to even connect the vital to the physical and down through all 5 bodies until it manifests in our physical reality. And we also know that choice is a key part of that in creating that collapse. And that no matter what choice has been made, there's always the opportunity for new or additional choices. And when disease occurs, that it may not originate within only one body of consciousness. Actually, it often spreads across more than just one body of consciousness. So it is important when we're treating to treat across all bodies, just to make certain that we are treating the root of the disease. And choice and awareness are 2 of those fundamental tools that can invoke consciousness within both the client, but also within ourselves as we're walking with the client on their healing journey. So Choice invokes that collapse, and awareness expands the consciousness in both of us. And when we take the time to understand that difference between awareness and just information, that's also a pivotal moment, because we can give our clients all kinds of information, but that's not increasing their awareness. Awareness means that they take the information and they create a mental meaning around it. What does it mean for them? How does it apply to their specific situation? How can they get creative with that information and use it in their healing? So it isn't just about handing over a bunch of facts and data to each one of our clients. It's about helping them understand what that means relative to their specific journey and empowering them with the ability to ask questions, tons of questions, so that they can really create a mental meaning for themselves. And that sparks the expansion within themselves to really collapse that healing, to really create and become their own advocate for their health and their journey and their well-being long past the time that they walk out of our offices. So the opportunity for the client or the patient is to explore and understand what created the illness or the disease in the first place. And that comes through that expansion of awareness and being empowered with choice, among many other things. But relative to this discussion, it comes through that. And to be empowered to really talk to their entire team of specialists. I know, and only speaking here from the experience I have, I rarely see someone where I am the only person on their team. They have a whole team of individuals, a whole team of health specialists, from medical doctors to surgeons to other alternative or integrative health practitioners that they are talking to. And when they are able to know that they can ask as many questions as they need, and they have a clear plan and path, then that really helps them create both a healing approach and a preventive approach once the healing is complete. And it's also key for them to know that they have that choice and they can develop that awareness. Because often they've talked to so many people that they're not even in alignment or awareness that they have a choice in the first place. And I know from personal experience, I can become so busy as a practitioner that I may lose sight of the fact that it's partially my role to remind them that they have choice. So it has to be top of mind for me to empower them and to remind them that they have a voice and this is their journey, and that I am here to support them in that. And that brings me to the importance of this quote. It's very humbling for me, and it's a great reminder. It was in the 2019 Harvard Business Review, and it talks about something very similar called mutuality. And it's our mutual responsibility with the client or the patient. And I'm not going to read the whole thing because you can refer back to the slides and see it. But it talks about how individuals in their healing journey need to be given the opportunity to have agency, choice, and individualism. And that healing does not occur if a patient is shamed for lacking health literacy or seeking alternative therapies, or if they feel overwhelmed by data and information that they can't possibly absorb. To heal, patients must feel safe in being honest, making mistakes, and asking questions, and in being guided gently by clinicians who care. And that is a key part, is taking the time for them to feel cared for and that they are on this journey with you supporting and guiding, or with me supporting and guiding. So that always brings me back to, then what is my opportunity? What is my role as their integrative health specialist, integrating in with their entire team with the additional types of offerings that I have that can be supplemental or in addition to what they're already receiving. And based on the theories that I've presented and what I've gained throughout my education, my opportunity is to be a facilitator of healing, not to own their journey. And there are many ways that I can do that, but two of the quickest ways that are always available to me are to empower them with the information about their condition and options that are available to them for treatment, but I have to meet them where they are. So that requires me to really take the time and form my own awareness around, what does the client already know? Where do they still have questions? How can I meet them where they are and then provide them with information versus just starting out of the gate, providing them with what I feel they need to know. And the second is to include the client in the decision-making process as I'm building out that approach for the supplemental or integrative care that I will be doing along with the other care that they're receiving. So they are making the choices. I'm offering their part of the decision-making and choice process, and then encouraging them to be an advocate for their health and wellness long after they leave the office. A final thought to consider, and this is where my theory really comes in strongly, and that's based on the research and my awareness through this quantum sciences field and consciousness studies. If a client walks in and hands over their choice for care to me and says, you design the entire treatment, then what I'm doing is I'm collapsing through my body's what is going to happen in their care. And that's going to leave them in a position where they're not making the choice. So they're not collapsing through their consciousness. They've handed that choice over to me. And now I'm collapsing it through all of my 5 bodies. They are going to get some benefit, but they're not going to get the full benefit because it didn't collapse through their 5 bodies. They're going to get the physical benefits. They may even get some of the vital benefits. But as we discussed, there are often places within all of those bodies where that disease resides. And so choice is important and imperative for the client or the patient to proactively be involved in so that they get that full collapse. Likewise, if they do that, it limits the expansion of their awareness in areas where that disease or that illness may have actually started. And so it's going to keep them from potentially preventing that illness from occurring again. And so they may be creating, once again, that circular causality where it feels like they're healed, but it's still not healed. And so it just keeps going in this infinite loop instead of going, oh, there's the root issue. Okay, let's heal that. Key takeaways. As we discussed, disease often occurs across more than just that physical form. And so healing has to go beyond the physical as well. And based on quantum principles and theories, choice and awareness to have a very key part in that healing process. So it's important for us as integrative health specialists to really encourage the choice and participation in that healthcare and in the healing process. And we do have a unique opportunity as the integrative practitioners that we are to include those two fundamental approaches, empowering our clients to heal not only from what they're experiencing currently, but create a healing approach that will serve them long after they leave our offices. So I'm Amber with Suivera, and this is how you can get a hold of me should you have any questions about what has been presented here today. We do have an entire team that you can reach out to if you should be interested in nutrition or biomechanics, or Sandia, who I believe you have heard from, can also answer any questions about the presentation that she made or anything in the area of medicine. But please feel free to reach out to us. We are focused not only in the area of health and wellness, but across the board, we have a mission to create a global movement of love. So there's so much available out in our resources on our website and our social media platforms. And then here are a few sources. These are the ones I specifically cited, but if you look up any of these, you will be led to additional resources and additional resources. So thank you very much for your time. I greatly appreciate it. And thank you so much for the opportunity to present. I am looking forward to fielding any questions that anyone may have. And until then, have a great rest of your conference.